So Andrea Boulder here from AndreaBoulder.com, where I help broke bloggers make bank online. Now, if you blink for just a minute, you might miss all the changes that are going on social media these days, from Instagram to Facebook to Pinterest. There are a ton of new features that these social media channels or social media sites are pushing out to make their sites better, more efficient, and to make more money for them. And they're being rolled out, and they can drastically impact the way that you build your business and your blog. Well, one of those big changes is from Pinterest. So if you've taken my course, Pin It Perfect, or if you have read any one of my blog posts on how to leverage Pinterest to grow your business and your blog and your email list, then you know that Pinterest is an integral part of the success that I've been able to achieve. And it can really be attributed to one tool in particular, and that is Board Booster. Now, Board Booster, it was by far one of my favorite tools, allowing me to drive tons of traffic and sales to my blog literally on autopilot. Well, Pinterest has officially announced that Board Booster is not a favorable or recommended Pinterest schedule to use because it is not an approved partner and using it is not compliant with their terms of service. Okay. So I've recommended Board Booster for almost 2 years now as a really powerful and profitable Pinterest scheduler, and it's a looping tool as well. I absolutely love the platform, but unfortunately, I can no longer recommend or use a tool that Pinterest has openly disapproved of. So they put their stamp of disapproval on Board Booster. Plus, Board Booster recently let all the users of Board Booster know that they are actually shutting down. So even if they wanted, or if you wanted to use them, it's a no-go. So we have to find something else to do. So what to do? So because Pinterest is my absolute bread and butter, I had to get another scheduler ASAP. I had my eye on Tailwind for some time, and because Board Booster is no longer a viable option, I had to make a transition. So I had to dive in fairly quickly to learn all of, the new things that are going on with Tailwind and how to use the system and how to use its scheduler so that I can, as quickly as possible, transition and make sure that I am, not losing out on any business while Board Booster actually vanished and went away. So within days, I've set up hundreds of pins already, and I must say, the verdict is still out as I make this transition, but for all of you out there who were once using Board Booster and are really scrambling to get your Pinterest life back together, or you're new to Pinterest marketing and just want to learn how to schedule your pins and put it on autopilot and bring in blog traffic, social media followers, and sales on autopilot, then this video right here is for you. So again, Tailwind is an approved Pinterest partner, and my first impression is that it is a much easier tool to learn, and it seems like it, in the long run, will be a more effective scheduling tool, and I'm sure that as you start to use it and get familiar with it, that you'll learn to love it too. Now, it will probably take a couple of months to build up a stockpile of pins, but even taking 30 to 45 minutes to schedule your first month of content would make promoting your blog on Pinterest so much easier. So today, I'm going to share with you how you can actually get set up on Tailwind, how you can schedule and scale your success on Pinterest by using Tailwind, and by creating a stockpile of pins that are going to be working on your behalf on autopilot to drive traffic and profits to your blog and to your business. So the first step to driving more traffic to your blog from Pinterest is to actually get set up with a Tailwind account. So what you want to do is go to tailwindapp.com, or you can click the link right below this tutorial video to sign up with Pinterest, or you can sign up using your Instagram account. So Tailwind offers a free 14-day trial, so there's no financial commitment. And this is awesome because it allows you to really just kind of dive in, get familiar with the features, and to see if the scheduling tool is actually the right scheduling tool for you and your business before you dive all the way in. So the next step is to set up your pinning schedule. Now, once you have created your Tailwind account, the first thing that you are going to want to do is to figure out how often you actually want to be pinning. On Board Booster, I was pinning and looping upwards of 100 pins a day, which according to Pinterest is a little bit overkill. So a good starting point is 10 pins a day, so that you can get used to adding content on a consistent basis. But if you are an overachiever like I am, then I would aim for 30 pins per day. So here's an example of my weekly pinning schedule. So when you first get set up, Tailwind is going to walk you through 4 different steps to setting up your dashboard and getting it in order. And based on your previous engagement and use on Pinterest and your time zone, Tailwind is going to crunch some data behind the scenes for you and suggest the best times for you to schedule and post your pins. And you'll see those suggestions in the pinning schedule that you see here. So you can find the Smart Schedule feature by going to Publisher over here on the left-hand side of your dashboard. And then underneath Publisher, you will see the tab that says Your Schedule. And it will automatically choose the best time slots for each day based upon your previous Pinterest engagement. So all this means is that your pins will go out at the times that they're most likely to be seen and shared, which is a good thing. So you can see here the time slots with the green plus sign surrounded by a green dotted line. These are the suggested time slots. And you can click on it and add that time slot, or you can add your own time slot. But because I know Pinterest and Tailwind are smarter than I am, 9 times out of 10, I am going to use the time slots that they recommend. And then because I am doing 30 pins a day, if I run out of suggested time slots, I can simply add my own. So if you're just starting out and you don't really have a ton of engagement yet on Pinterest, then you can create a schedule, filling up time slots based on how many pins that you want to post per day. And then you just hop back on or into your dashboard after a month or so that you can update or optimize the time slots once Tailwind has been able to gather more data and more information based on your engagement and your usage. Okay. So step number 3 is to actually set up what's called your board list. So it took me a few days to catch on or to kind of find this feature, but I am so glad I did because it is awesome. So instead of pinning one pin to one board at one time, which would take forever, you can create what's called list of related boards to cut down the pinning process, and it allows you to schedule pins to multiple boards at one time. So to create a board list, you're going to hop back over to the left-hand side of your dashboard under Publisher, and then you're going to see the Board List tab. So board lists are going to be a collection of all of the boards that you own, as well as the group boards. These are boards that you don't own that are managed and operated by someone else, but that are all related to the same topic or niche. And what's cool about board lists is that you can literally create lists and as many different lists as you want, such as a special events list, a seasonal or a holiday list, or any type of theme or category that's relevant to your blog or to your business and what you think your audience will be interested in. So that you can see how this is set up, let's go in and create a few new lists. So what I want to do is I actually want to group my blogging boards together. So let's start with blogging list number 1. So I'm going to click this section right here that says click to add a list. And I'm going to add all the boards related to blogging and growing a blog. And remember, you want a combination of your boards and group boards that you are a part of, that you participate in. Okay. So once you've set up your first board list, then we're going to create a second board list. Okay. Let's create a couple of boards in different niches. And then what I want to do is create one more blogging list number 3. So I have 3 total board lists that are titled blogging lists. And you may be wondering why I've actually created 3 separate lists with the same name that have almost identical boards in them. So just hold that thought for a moment and we'll get back to that in just a second. So once you have all of your board lists created and set up, what we want to do next is start adding pins to our scheduler, to our weekly pinning schedule. And we want to do that using a scheduling button. Now, one of the best features about Tailwind and what makes it so easy to use is its time-saving extensions and bookmarklets. I use Chrome, so I use Tailwind's Chrome extension, but if you use Firefox or Safari, there are extensions for those browsers as well. And once you install it, you can see the Tailwind icon pop up right here in my tab. So let's dive in and let me explain exactly what the extension does. So if you are blogging, you'll also want to make sure that you have social media share buttons that your readers can use to share your blog posts. And if you go to andreaboulder.com and look at any one of my blog posts, on the left-hand side, you'll see social media buttons that I use that are installed through SumoMe. But you are also going to need a pin button that you can use to make pinning and scheduling your own post and post from other blogs that you follow super simple and a stress-free process. So whenever you see something that you want to pin either from your blog or from a blog that you follow, this Tailwind extension is going to make it really easy for you to simply add that pin to your scheduler. So with the Tailwind extension, you do not have to waste time logging into your Tailwind dashboard just to create a new pin or to schedule a new pin every time you want to promote your own content or find something awesome on another site that you want to share. So you'll be able to pin quickly on your own blog, on other people's blogs, and within Pinterest itself. So let me show you how that works. So for instance, let's say that I want to schedule this pin directly from this blog post here on andreaboulder.com. Now I can click the Tailwind bookmarklet that you see right here, and voila, you see this pop-up window. So I can pick my pin, and because we actually set up our board list, I don't have to go through and click each board that I want to add it to individually. I can click the board list and then it will automatically integrate or add all of the multiple boards that I have included in that board list. And then it's going to allow me to actually schedule my pins. Super simple. So if I am on Pinterest and I want to speed pin or speed schedule a bunch of pins at once, then all I have to do is hop on to Pinterest.com. I can search by a keyword or have Pinterest pull up suggested pins that I know my audience will love. And I can click the Tailwind bookmarklet and look at here. I have multiple pins to choose from that I can add to my weekly pinning schedule right here, right now. And because I created lists, Again, instead of having to individually scroll through and pick boards one at a time, I can use the board list feature and it will automatically schedule this pin to post to all of those boards. Now, I don't want to post one pin to like 30 different boards all at one time. So what I am going to do is actually drip those pins out gradually over a predetermined interval or space of time, which brings us to step number 5, which is choosing your pinning interval. So this feature allows you to schedule one pin to multiple boards across multiple days with just a few clicks. So let me show you how this is done. So FYI, you're not going to see this option for interval scheduling if you have 0 or only one board added. So once the interval option shows up, you're going to click the use interval button that you see on the bottom left hand side, and you're going to use the slider that pops up to choose a minimum time to publish between pins. And what I like to do is generally leave or schedule about 2 to 3 days between pins. So my minimum time between each pin is going to be anywhere between 2 and 3 days. And then you can also see that above the interval time slider, there's a little section that says schedule first pin at, and then it'll give you a date and a time. And this is helpful when scheduling new blog posts into Tailwind in advance. So you can set them to pin to the first board on the same day that the post goes live. So it's almost like you can pre-schedule, just like you pre-schedule a post to publish in WordPress, you can make sure that Tailwind actually posts your new blog post when you know that you're going to be scheduling or publishing a new blog post, okay? And you want to get that pin out there and in your Pinterest boards. So if you've scheduled your pins with a 1-day interval like I did in this example here, here's what is going to happen. On day 1, the post will pin to the first board on the list, which is the blogger and blogging tips board. On day 2, the post is going to pin to the andreaboulder.com board. On day 3, the post will pin to the blog traffic tips board. On day 4, the post will pin to the bloggers on Pinterest board. And on day 5, it's going to post to the how to start a blog board, and then on and on and on until it runs through the entirety of your group list. And this is why I created those 3 separate but very similar group board lists. So if I were to pin, say, 5 pins to the same board list, one after another, they would all go onto or into the boards in the same order. So on day number 1, 5 different pins are going to post into the blogger and blogging tips board. Day number 2, 5 different pins are going to go onto the andreaboulder.com board. Day number 3, 5 different pins into the blog traffic tips board. Day number 4, 5 different pins are going to post to the bloggers on Pinterest board. And then day number 5, 5 different pins into the how to start a blog board. So this means that it would take 5 days for all of these other boards in your list to begin receiving new pins. So when I am working with multiple board lists using the interval feature, I am now able to stagger my pins and share to my own boards as well as to the group boards that I participate in consistently and evenly. And that's what Pinterest now wants you to do. They want to see consistent use of Pinterest, not just dumping all of your pins into your boards all at one time. They want to see it spread out over a few days. And what I used to do was whenever I would publish a blog post, I would simply hop onto Pinterest and then I would add that pin all at one time to all of my boards or all of the boards that are relevant to that particular pin. And I would do it one after another, after another, after another, after another. And Pinterest does not want you to do that. They want you to stagger your pins over the course of a few days. So now that you've gotten the gist of how to use the most important Tailwind features, what I want you to do is simply just sit down and take some time to learn about the app and to take some time scheduling your pins. So you can either take 30 to 40 minutes a week, or you can say take a weekend and just sit down and schedule all of your pins in one shot until you have a stockpile of pins for Tailwind to distribute on autopilot while you do what you do in terms of growing your business. Okay. You don't want to get caught up in having to sit down and pin or manually pin all the time. And that's what I love about Tailwind, is that you can set it and leave it. So now that you are set up to start pinning, you're going to probably be wondering what you should be doing next and what you should be pinning and how to boost your repins, followers, and profits leveraging Pinterest as a marketing tool. Well, I've got a 7-day challenge for you. It is called the Pin It Perfect Challenge, and it was designed to help you navigate Pinterest in a way that is productive and profitable and that will drive tons of traffic and get subscribers on your email list. And we all know that when you get more traffic and you have more subscribers, that means more sales and more profits for your blog and your business.